All right, students, we're going to do a little graffiti today with your names. This is something that students have requested a lot, especially when it comes to free days and things. Students are asking me all the time how to do letters and bubble letters, and they want to write words and their names and stuff. So I thought we'll just go ahead and do a lesson, and I'll show you guys some of these things that you've been asking me about. So here's a little version I made of my name, and I'll show you a version of this, and this is just how I did mine. You can make yours differently. Graffiti is really all about personal expression and personality and your own, personality showing through in your artwork. Artists who do kind of graffiti style, after doing it over and over again, they kind of make their own font and their own style, and they may do similar stuff all the time. They may always have the same kind of shapes or same kind of extra details. So you can kind of find your own voice and make your own design and play around with it. I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks on how to get started. So if you are working on this at home, you will need a pencil, and we're going to use a black marker to outline. You can use anything you want. You don't even have to color yours if you don't want to. I think it's super fun, but up to you, and you could color this with whatever you want. If you're in the classroom with me today, we're going to use Sharpies, or I might give you a choice of a couple other things to color with. So first off, though, you're going to need a pencil. That you will need, and we're going to be doing some erasing, so make sure you have an eraser. So if you want, I'll show you. I'm going to start with a ruler just to give myself a couple of straight lines. You do not have to do this part. This can just help you make sure your letters are all the same height. You can kind of fill up your paper if you want, or if you don't want to quite fill up your paper, if you just give yourself a couple of, whoa, that is not straight at all. Oh my gosh, the whole point of using a ruler, and I completely missed it. So if you want to make sure your letters are all exactly the same size and you save some room for extra details, you could use a ruler. There we go, a little better. And give yourself a couple of straight lines just to give yourself some guidelines. Again, you don't have to do this part. And I want to save some room around my name so I can do some extra decorations. So I'm going to make some lines on the side too. And I'll erase these lines later. That way I know I've saved some room around the outside for my extra design. So for writing your name, you want to kind of make a plan so you can fill up that space. You don't want to make it too small and not use all your space, or make your letters too big and run out of room. So to kind of give yourself a plan, you can write your name on another piece of paper or, on the corner. I'm going to do my first name because my last name is super long. Katie is my first name. Eckleberry, of course, is my last name. And Eckleberry has a lot of letters. So if you have a lot of letters like me, you might choose to do your first or your last name or a nickname, or just pick the first few letters of your name. So that's up to you. I think you want to get at least 5 letters. If it gets much shorter than that, I think it's kind of tricky. If you're getting more than like 6, 7 letters, it starts to get a little hard. So up to you. Give it a try. 5 letters is a pretty good amount. And my name just happens to be 5 letters. To get kind of a plan going, you want to try to find the middle of your name and get that started first in the middle of your paper. So I look at my name and I cover up the letters on the outside and work my way in. So in Katie, if I cover up the K and the E and the A and the I know that T is in the middle. Now, 5 is an odd number, so there's 1 letter in the middle. If you have an even number of letters in your name, there may be 2 letters in the middle. And that's okay. You can kind of pick what 2 letters need to be in the middle, or what 1 letter. Just find the middle of your name. So for my name, T is in the middle, so I'm going to put a T in the middle. And drawing is just a series of corrections. That's all drawing is. If you make 1 line and leave it, that almost never is going to happen in drawing. You're constantly tweaking, changing, erasing. That's part of drawing. So don't expect to get this on the first shot. You may make your letter a little too big or a little too small and have to change it. I'm going to try with that. And I'm going to try to fill this box as much as I can. So I'm going all the way to the top and bottom. T is in the middle. On this side, I need the I and the E. So I. And some letters can be smaller, some can be bigger. Like my I can be really narrow and my E could be wider. I'll try this. And some classes we may have talked about some illustration art before. We may have done something kind of similar, but this is just a little something different to do with it. So this may be familiar to you. So I got my T and my I and my E. They fit pretty good. On this side, I need the K and the A. So I'm going to do the A first. And I think some letters just need to be bigger, like A's, N's, M's, K's. And things like I's and T's can be a little smaller. Just depends what you like. Yeah, make it more like that. So you're going to be tweaking, you're going to be erasing, that's part of it. So, bubble letters. Here's the key. Just start making normal letters first. Students try to make their bubble letter on the first go, and then they usually don't like the way it turns out. Start with this, and you're going to bubble around it, bubblify your name. Or you can make it kind of cube and chunky with square shapes. Up to you. I'm going to go a little bubbly for my name. So I'm using my plain letters as a guideline, and I'm going to go around them. So I'm making these bubble shapes. So you can make yours as bubbly or as blocky as you want. They can kind of, overlap each other if you want. If you have a letter like A and it's got a hole in the middle, you might want to go back and add that little hole. My T. And here I'm going a little outside my box. It's up to you. I just use that box as kind of a guideline. I know I want to pretty much fill that box. And you can even make stuff bigger so it touches. I think it's kind of fun if it touches. I'm going to go like that and that and that. So I did it pretty quick. You can take more time with yours and make it as neat as you want and go back and fix stuff. It's okay if you have a lot of extra lines. I might make my K more like that. So there's more room. So you're going to have a lot of extra marks. No worries. We're going to do some erasing, some more erasing in a minute. I like it like that. Okay. So once you get it pretty much how you like it, you can go back and trace with a black marker or crayon or whatever you'd like. Or if you don't have something to trace with, you can just go back with your pencil and make it darker. I'm going to use a marker and trace over my bubble letter. So I'm just tracing that outside line that I want to keep. The inside line I'm going to erase in just a minute. But I think it's easier to do your tracing first and then your erasing at the end. I'll show you what I mean. When you erase at the end, you don't have to be very careful. You can just kind of erase everything because you know you're not going to erase your marker. You got kind of big, that's okay. Okay, so I've traced everything. That marker's not going to go anywhere, so when I erase, I can just go over the whole thing. Just be careful. Hold your paper still so you don't rip it or anything. Go back and erase everything. I'm not going to be perfect because I'm trying to go fast so you guys can get going. But you get the idea. Get all those things erased that you don't want. That name I wrote there to help me find the middle. I got rid of that. Okay, you can do better at erasing. I just got the big stuff off. So this is where you can start getting crazy with design. A few things I want to show you. These are things I get asked about a lot. Things to make your name look a little more 3D, look a little more like it's an actual bubble, is adding a shadow. And this kind of shadow is called a drop shadow. You can kind of remember it because it kind of drops to one side like a real shadow. If you have anything, a letter, something sitting on your table, something outside, a tree, think of a tree, the sun shining on it on one spot or a light shining on it. One side's going to be all lit up from the light. The other side's going to get the shadow. So to make yours look real, you got to pick what side is the light and what side is the shadow, and always do it the same on every letter. So like on this one, I have my shadow on the right side of each letter. So you could say the light is shining over here on the left, and everything on the right side has a shadow. So it doesn't matter which side you pick, or you could even do the top and the bottom, You could pretend your light is shining up here at the top, and everything on the bottom gets a shadow. You just got to be consistent. Whatever you pick, do it the same on every letter. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to pretend my light's right here, and my shadow is going to go kind of on the bottom, kind of on the right. So anything that's on the right, just go give it a little extra, kind of tracing outside that line a little bit. And that you fill in with black or whatever color you're using to give the effect of a shadow, like that. So my light, I'm kind of picturing my lights right here in the corner. So you can see that my shadow is kind of to the right and kind of downward. But you got to kind of think of your light. Pretend you have a lamp shining on your name. Think of that lamp. It's not going to move. So every shadow on each letter is going to be the same area. And this place, you kind of got to look and just see. There's kind of an instinct to drawing that I can't really teach you. It's kind of a feeling. You have to kind of look and see what looks and feels right. That looks like it needs to be a little bigger. I feel like I need more shadow there. Less shadow there, right there. This is all about your personal expression, whatever you decide. Since this A has two parts, it's kind of like the right side of this part and the right side of that part. Same thing on my K, because there's kind of multiple parts. So I'm doing the right side of these parts, and I'll do the right side of those parts. I'm curving it around the bottom just a little bit. Kind of like that. So there, that little teeny detail really gave mine more of a 3D look, huh? Let's see, I think I need a little more right there. Maybe down here more. Something like that. Just have fun with it. And you know what? If something goes wrong and you accidentally go, whoop, too big, oh well, just make it part of your drawing. You can make it look intentional and then it looks awesome. May I make all my shadows a little bigger? That's those little problems you have to solve as you draw. That's what art and learning are all about. That's what creativity is. You got to solve those problems. And I just made it part of my drawing. I just tweaked it a little bit. Now it looks intentional. Looks like I did it on purpose. I totally planned it. Anyways, there's your drop shadow. You can have a lot more fun with other details. Like this one, I did little like shiny marks, like a highlight. You might see, I'm thinking of like a balloon that's puffed up and you can kind of see the little shiny marks. I'm adding the dots just because I think they're cute. Adding a little character. That's what graffiti is really all about. It's kind of showing your personal character, your sense of style. And this part especially, you just got to look at it and kind of see where it needs to feel balanced. You know, maybe I feel like it needs some here. So don't forget every once in a while to kind of stop, take a look, kind of check in and see how it looks to you, how you feel. If you think it needs something. Like right now, I think I need a little something there. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. Make little dashes, make little dots, up to you. So those are my shiny marks. You could have a lot of fun with stuff you do around it, like I was saying before. Like here I did like a bubbly cloud. And for me, if I just put down the marker and start making curve marks, they all kind of end up the same. I don't like it as much. So for me, to give it that look of a real cloud, I think it works better to pick up your marker, take a little break. And the key, I think, with this kind of bubbly shape is variety. Same thing here. Make things a little different. So some are bigger, some are smaller. I'm going to get a little closer to my letter. Again, I'm trying to go a little faster. But for me, I think I do better if I kind of pick up my marker. Take a second. Helps me get more variety. Sometimes I'm going underneath a little bit. Kind of keep going. Some may be bigger, some may be taller, some may be shorter. Adding that variety. Kind of like Zentangling. We probably talked about that. That idea of variety and change gives interest to your drawing. So I might not go all the way around, let you guys get time to work on yours, but you get the idea. Kind of make them a little different all the way around. Other things you could add. I did little sparkle things here. I mean, I just kind of made it up. I just picked a spot, pretend there's a dot, and I made little straight lines coming out of it. It's like a little gleam, a little sparkle thing. You can add, sometimes I do these kind of little marks. They look almost like your word is vibrating or radiating, gives it like a look like it's moving. Or we might have talked about Keith Haring before, and he's a graffiti artist we'll talk about, and he's really known for a lot of simple shapes. He did a lot of hearts. He was really known for hearts. And then around a lot of his shapes, he would do these little radiating lines. And it kind of gave his drawings a look like they're moving. It kind of made them look like they're radiating, like they're happy. It gave them a real happy effect. So you can even just do little radiating marks around your letters. Gives them that happy, like they're just shaking, they're so happy kind of look. It's up to you. Have a lot of fun with it. It's also fun to go crazy with coloring. When I think of graffiti, a graffiti style of art, I think of a lot of really bright colors. Again, it's about showing personality. It's about showing your own flavor and your own taste. So bright colors, interesting colors, different colors, that can really help to show off your personality. Maybe you want all cool colors and make it look super chill. And maybe you want really warm, bright colors, you know, reds, oranges, and yellows. Maybe you want to make yours kind of rainbow effect. I had someone in class the other day gave theirs like a sunset look. So they went from yellows to oranges to reds in all of their letters, and it gave their whole word a look like it had the sun setting on it. So go crazy, have fun. This is a real fun thing to do on paper. A lot of students want to decorate notebooks if you have a notebook or a sketchbook at home. You can do this anywhere, especially if you have a Sharpie. It works really good on a notebook or something like that. So have fun, try it out, and come up with your own interesting flavors and designs. Have a good time.